Hello, and thank you for watching this online presentation brought to you by University Academic Success Program's Writing Centers at Arizona State University. This presentation is on the American Medical Association, or AMA, citation style. So why do we use citation styles in academic writing? It helps provide a consensus for how writers should format and present information and research. It reminds writers that they are participating in a larger community of scholars while encouraging recognition of previous work and experts in your field of study. These styles produce guidelines for writers and readers and helps you as a writer convey your credibility as a writer in the community. To begin, let's go over a brief history of the AMA manual. The American Medical Association was founded in 1847. The first AMA manual, published in 1962, was 68 pages long. The third edition, published in 1989, was then 377 pages. And the most recent edition, published in 2007, is 1,032 pages. The manual is designed to provide guidance to writers publishing research in journals. So if you feel like the manual is not designed for your classroom term paper, it wasn't. There are some things that are expected in academic writing that are not expected in journal writing and therefore not addressed in the manual. Likewise, there are guidelines in the manual that are not expected to be included in your paper. When using AMA citation style, you definitely want to use your resources, which is including talking to your faculty member about their expectations regarding this citation style. We will review the following components of AMA in this presentation. First, we will go over some overall appearance and formatting standards. Next, we will discuss the elements of a title page, then we will review headings. And finally, we will go over how to document your sources to make sure you are effectively avoiding plagiarism. This will include information on how to cite in text using Endnotes citations and creating your list of references at the end of the document. Here are some general formatting tips for your document in AMA style. In general, your document should have 1-inch margins and be double-spaced throughout. All paragraphs should be left justified with the first line indented 1/2 inch. You should also have some specific information in the document header throughout your document. There should be page numbering starting on the title page in the upper right-hand corner. You should also have a shortened running title header that is aligned with the page number on the left margin. When putting together your title page, you should make sure it is double-spaced as well as centered on the page. You should include the full title of your paper, your name, your degree and email address, your institution, and the word count of the document. This is standard for publication in AMA journals. Some information, such as degrees, email address, and word count, may be optional in the class setting. It will depend, so be sure to ask your instructor on what they expect on your title page. Here is an example of a title page. You can see the page number in the upper right-hand side, and the rest of the paper information is centered at the top of the page. In AMA, abstracts may be included on the title page or on the second page of the manuscript. If you are required to do an abstract, check with your instructor on what they would prefer. If you are submitting your document to a journal, look at other article submissions to the publication to see what the general format expectation is. As was just mentioned, an abstract may or may not be required for your course documents. Typically, they are used more for formal journal publication and not necessarily for academic papers. If you are including an abstract in your document, it is generally located either on the title page or the second page of the paper. The word abstract should be centered and bold-faced, and the first full line of text should not be indented, but should be double-spaced. Usually, abstracts are between 150 and 275 words long, and directly following the body of the abstract, there should be a list of key words for the paper. There are two different abstract types, The structured abstract is typically used for systematic or clinical reviews containing original data. It addresses 4 areas in summary of the document: the introduction, the method, the results, and the discussion. The unstructured abstract is for all other types of manuscripts and documents. This abstract is 150 words or less, and while it addresses similar areas as the structured abstract, it does not need to be as formally ordered. Headings are used in AMA style to divide and subdivide the paper to break up the writing and make it easier to read. Heading styles vary among journals, publishers, and instructors. Ask your instructor if they would like headings to be used and what they would like to see, or you can look at specific journals to see what heading style and format is used. Typically, you will see journals follow the IMRAD pattern of heading styles, where they will include an introduction, methods, results, and discussions heading. Next, we will be reviewing the different ways you document your sources, both in the text and with your reference list. Properly documenting your sources is extremely important for you to show where your information came from, so that you can avoid issues of plagiarism and academic integrity. Over the next few slides, we will be reviewing how to properly use in-text citations using Endnotes, including how to cite direct quotes. And then we will go over the reference page format and share some common reference format examples. AMA citation style utilizes endnote citations. Endnote citations are placed at the end of a sentence and noted with a superscript Arabic number. Sources are numbered as they appear in the paper, so the first source you cite will be number 1, the second number 2, and so on. If you are including page numbers in your endnote citation reference, the page number should be in parentheses next to the endnote. If you are directly quoting a source, page numbers are also required. If you are citing multiple sources within one sentence, you separate each number by a comma. Should the sources follow each other sequentially in the reference list, you can use a hyphen instead of a list with commas. Finally, when citing a previously used source, reuse the same superscript number. A sentence can contain more than one citation as well. Superscript numbers should be placed outside periods and commas and inside colons and semicolons. Sometimes in-text citations can get a bit long if you are citing a lot of sources. If a citation has more than 23 characters, including spaces and punctuation, you should use an asterisk in the text and put the citation details in a footnote at the bottom of a page. When writing a paper, you should summarize and synthesize your materials more often than using direct quotations. However, there are times when you deem it is best to directly quote a source. A direct quote takes information word for word from a text. When you use a direct quote, you should add the superscript immediately after the closing quotation mark. Remember that direct quotations cannot be islands unto themselves. They should be sandwiched with an introduction and an unpacking of the quotation's significance. A reference list in AMA style is placed on a new page at the end of your paper or manuscript. The page is labeled as References, and the title is flush with the left margin. Citations should be numerically listed in the order they appear in the document, not alphabetically, and the references should be double-spaced. Endnotes and reference lists must match, so this is an area you will want to double-check when reviewing your document before submission. There are some important distinguishing formats to highlight in the AMA style reference list. The author's surname is followed by their first and middle initial with no periods. If there are multiple authors below 6, their names are separated by commas. If there are more than 6 authors to a reference, you should list the first 3 and then include et al. you should not use the word "and" between multiple authors. Should there be no author listed on the reference, you start the reference listing with the document title. The title format should retain the spelling, abbreviations, and number style that was used in the original document. If the reference is a book, the first letter of each major word should be capitalized. If the reference is a journal article, you should only capitalize the first letter of the first word, any proper names, and any abbreviations included that are normally capitalized. We will be sharing some basic reference list citation examples in the coming slides. Here is a reference page example. Notice the title References is flush left and bolded, and that the references are numbered by appearance and not in alphabetical order. This slide shows you some examples of reference page citation formats for common documents you will utilize and cite. Use these guidelines to model your references after. You can also see examples in the AMA Manual or the ASU Online Library Guide for AMA Citations. This slide shows you some additional examples of reference page citation formats for common journal article resources you will utilize and cite. You can use these guidelines to model your references after. For online sources, DOI stands for Digital Object Identifier and is a unique alphanumeric string assigned to an online journal article. If there is no DOI listed, please provide a URL for the article. If you found your article through an online library database, such as EBSCOhost, be aware that there is no specific way to cite articles found in such library databases according to the AMA Manual, so double check with your instructor on what they would like to see. These past two slides showed you just 6 common format examples. Should you have a reference that does not fall within one of these categories, you will need to access the AMA Style Manual or the ASU Online Library Guide for AMA Citations for more unique or specific reference types. Now that we have gone over the basic format of AMA Style, one way to review all the information is to distinguish the AMA style from the other styles such as APA or MLA. The AMA style requires an in-text numbering system for the reporting of research source materials in the body of a paper, not a parenthetical system such as the APA or MLA style uses. Likewise, in the AMA style, the reference list is numbered, beginning with the first reference cited in the body of the paper. The list is not alphabetized as it would be in APA or MLA. If you're looking at a reference list formatted in the AMA style, you'll notice there are no periods after the initials of the author's first or middle names and no ampersand to introduce the last author in a list of authors. This differs from the APA and MLA formats. The date of the document appears after the title, not immediately after the author, as the APA format requires. As you look at a list of references in an article formatted in AMA style, you'll find few letters and very few, if any, use of parentheses. This is also in stark contrast to the APA format. You'll notice that journal titles carry a standard abbreviation in AMA formatted reference lists, whereas the APA and MLA manuals ask writers to spell out the titles of journals in the reference list. You'll also notice that when numeric publication information is reported in reference list items, very few, if any, spaces separate elements, such as the year, the volume number, the issue number, and the page number. This run-on look will be very jarring at first, but you'll soon get used to it. And finally, in the reporting of Internet sources, the AMA style differs from other formats. Unlike APA, no introductory phrase is needed before the Uniform Resource Locator, or URL, but a period is required after the URL. The word accessed, not retrieved, is used in a final sentence to identify the date on which an internet site was read. In summary, when in doubt about AMA citation style, you should clarify with your instructor, as some things may or may not be required depending on their individual preferences. There are also many outside resources you can use for support. You can purchase your own copy of the AMA Manual of Style, or utilize copies that can be found as references in the libraries. You can read journals that use the AMA style to see how they utilize the style to become familiar with it. There is also an ASU online library guide for AMA citations that you can access using the shared URL in this presentation. You can schedule an appointment with an ASU writing tutor who can not only review your citation style with you, but review the overall document as well. And finally, the best way to improve your skills with AMA style is to keep practicing. Thank you for watching this presentation on the AMA citation style. We hope to see you at one of our writing centers soon.